This is the Chapter 4, Part 1 test review. This is going to deal with lessons 4.1 through 4.3. This is all going to be dealing with equations. So for number 1, it says to describe the operation that will undo the following operations. Right, undo, so we're looking for the opposite. The opposite of dividing would be to multiply by, and remember we don't change the number, we're going to keep the number the same. So this would end up being multiplied by -3. For letter B, the opposite of subtracting 15 is to add 15. For letter C, the opposite of adding 2 is subtracting 2. And finally, for letter D, instead of multiplying by 6, we would just divide by 6. Number 2, solve the equation. I always start by drawing a line. We just said do the opposite. The opposite of adding 4 is to subtract 4. Subtract 4, subtract 4. I am left with m equals, if I think about this as a visual model, I have 1 negative and I'm adding 4 more negatives. This is a total of 5 negatives. So m is equal to -5. For number 3, I see 12 and h. Those two are right next to each other. That means multiplying. To undo multiplying, we're just going to divide. And I'm going to divide by my coefficient, which is 12. H on this side. On the other side, -36 divided by 12. There's 3 12s and 36. Positive divided by, or negative divided by positive is negative. H is equal to -3. For number 4, I see a fraction out front of k. And to undo this, we're going to divide by -7/2, which really is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. The reciprocal here would be -2/7. So we'll take that, multiply that by -2/7. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other, times -2/7. K on this side, equal sign 42, we'll write that over 1, times -2/7. 7 and 42 can simplify to 6 and 1. 6 times -2 is equal to -12. So our answer is -12 is equal to k. Number 5, all I need to do here is add the 5 over. The only thing we got to be careful of is where do we line that 5 up. It's in the ones place. We're going to leave it in the ones place. B is equal to 7, decimal point, 1 plus 5 is 6, and then the 1's just going to drop down. B is equal to 16.7. Number 6, x over 5 is equal to -10. In order to undo division, we need to multiply, so I will multiply both sides by 5. Multiplying cancels that out. I'm just left with x. -10 times +5. Negative times positive is negative. 10 times 5 is 50. Number 7 looks like this. I see -1/3. I know to do the opposite, I would just add 1/3. Plus 1/3. Remember, with fractions, I need common denominators before I can add them. So I'm going to think, how do I make common denominators? Well, we're just going to find our greatest common, or at least common multiple, which is 15. Whatever I do to the bottom, I also have to do up top. This now becomes -6/15 plus 5/15. -6 plus +5, that leaves me with -1/15, which will be equal to y. Number 8, this is a two-step equation. The first thing we got to do is any adding or subtracting outside of parentheses. There are none here, so I'm just going to add 3 to start with. This leaves me with -2h is equal 15 plus 3 is 18. To get rid of that -2h, it's attached, so I got to divide it off. H is equal to -9. Again, I have a two-step equation. I see that I need to add 1/5 first since it's not attached to the variable. Add 1/5 on this side as well. That leaves me with negative y over 6 is equal 9/5 and 1/5. That is a total of 10/5. 10 divided by 5 is also just 2. So I'm going to write 2 there. To get rid of this negative and the 6, we're just going to multiply by negative 6 on both sides. That will take care of both problems. I get y is equal to 2 times 6 is 12. Positive times negative is negative. For number 10, this one, really there's a negative 1 hidden in here. So we're going to rewrite it like that. To get rid of that, I'm just going to divide by negative 1. Divide by negative 1. And that negative sign just kind of hops over the line. I get y is equal to negative 12. For number 11, I see a bunch of variables, but they are all the same, so I'm going to combine all my like terms. Negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2. Take away 3 from that, or add negative 3. That's going to put me to negative 5d is equal to negative 15. I need to divide this then by negative 5, which my answer then becomes d is equal to 3. For number 12, it says you have $45, you earn additional money babysitting, then you purchase a new game for $55.25, and you have $9.75 left over. How much did you earn babysitting? Well, as we read the problem, let's write down our numbers. I have 45 to start with. I earn additional babysitting money, but that's what the question's asking us, so I don't know it. I'm going to put B for babysitting money. I purchase a new game. That means I had to pay money, or I lost money on that game. And at the end, I now have $9.75 left. So whatever I started with 45, I earned babysitting money, lost money for the game. I'm now equal to $9.75 after all that. Okay. From here, a couple ways we could do it. I like to combine my like terms on each side first. 45 minus 55.25. Those two have opposite signs, so they're going to fight each other and subtract. 55.25 is the bigger value, so we'll put that on top. I should get 10.25. It was negative, so this is going to be minus 10.25 since negative 55.25 is bigger than 45. And we are going to set that equal to 9.75. After this, my last step, all I would need to do is just add that 10.25 to the other side. 10.25. And I get B equals 0, 0, 0, 2. So to write this in words, you earn $20 babysitting. Alright, last one, number 13. It costs $16 to enter a water park and $2 to ride each ride. I have $30. Okay. To write my equation, I know that my costs are going to be 16 plus $2 for every ride. So this is where I need to put my variable because I'm looking for the number of rides. That's what the question says right here. I have $30. I know that this has to equal $30 because I can't spend any more. Alright. To solve this two-step equation, we're going to subtract 16 from both sides to start with. I get 2r is equal to, let's borrow from there, 10 minus 6 is 4, 2 minus 1 is 1. 2r equals 14, so each ride costs $2, and I have $14 left for rides. I'm going to divide that by $2, and I end up with r is equal to 7. How do we make sense of my answer? we would say you have enough money for 7 rides. Alright, that is part 1 of our Chapter 4 test review